Hey, Uncle Roddus back again. Another video. It's been a bloody busy week. This is the second video I've had to make. So, I got contacted by one of the members of the Vinyl Lovers Facebook page for New Zealand, or the, what's it called? The Vinyl Lovers of New Zealand Facebook page, Valons for short. And he was coming down to Christchurch to DJ a gig. And he's a gentleman who from the North Island who scouts in for records, second-hand records, directly from people's homes and top shops and whatever else, however he sources them. He said there's not a lot of record shops or outlets up in Hamilton where he lives. But anyway, he contacted me and said he was coming down. He had some records if I was interested in doing some swaps or trades or buys. I said I don't tend to sell much of my stuff. I buy just to keep it. So anyway, he sent me a list and he had some interesting things. So I arranged to meet him in town, and I looked at my finances. And he was doing a good deal for me anyway on the stuff. So I looked at my finances and thought, well, I haven't got a lot of money, and anyway, I thought it might be about time to cash in my copper again, which I do every year, and go and spend it on records. So I got up early, had the trailer loaded yesterday, and shot into town and cashed it all in. Arranged to meet him at Penny Lane at about 11 o'clock. I got there probably about 9:30, so that gave me plenty of time to browse. I did message him and say, don't leave it too long or I won't have any money left. There was a lot of good stuff in Penny Lane today. So I got a bunch of New Zealand stuff and a bunch of other bits and pieces. I'll start with this playing in the background, Mike Knock, New Zealand pianist. Mike is, I like Mike Knock. I'm collecting anything that I can see of his. This is from 1978? Yeah, 1978, on Ode Records, New Zealand jazz label, jazz and folk and a bit of country I think they put out. I've shown Ode stuff before. Yeah, so this is him playing in the background, a bit of solo piano. So in just a random order here of my records I picked up today, I was really pleased to find this, Delaney Davidson and Marlon Williams. This was their first record together. As you can see, what's it called? Sad But True, The Secret History of Country Music Songwriting, and this is volume 1. Love the covers. There is a volume 3 which I have. I don't think volume 2 was actually ever released. I've never seen it, and it's not on Discogs. This is Littleton Records, and I think this is Littleton Records' very first release, because the code was LR1 from memory, which I can't actually see on here, but on Discogs that's how they listed it. Not sure on that one, but it doesn't actually say on the record. So yeah, really cool, and it's in great condition. So please, because that was one of the few missing links on my Delaney Davidson discography. I could not leave this on the shelf today. I spotted this one in one of the new arrivals, I think, bins. I'm not going to show you the inside of this because it is far too offensive. Deep Throat, the one and only original music soundtrack from the 1972 famous porn movie. This is Light in the Attic reissue from 2004. Quickly reading the backs, it says, in the early 70s the US government seized all film reels and master tapes for Deep Throat. Therefore all of the musicians and writers are unknown, and that says that on Discogs too. In early 2004 a number of long lost reels were discovered, giving fans a deeper glimpse into the legend of Deep Throat with this release. after a detailed restoration by John Golden, mastering sonic imperfections still apply, but definite aural improvements have been made, including the conversion from mono to stereo. Anyway, yeah, this is really, it sounds cool. This has got a couple of scratches on it, this record. It's second hand. But the music on this is really, really cool. It is such a cool, it's really sort of underground 60s sort of psych pop. It is really cool. And I have had to listen to it tonight. I haven't managed to listen to most of these. I've been cleaning them and discogging them and all sorts of stuff. So this is one of the records I picked up off this fella today that I met. Stanley Jordan, a Blue Note release from 1985. I have no idea what this is going to be like. It's I picked it up off him. I mean, he was giving them pretty cheap, and they cleaned up. They were a bit grubby, but they cleaned up really well. So yeah, Blue Note Jazz. So I thought I'll give that a go. In Penny Lane, I did pick up another ECM, so I'm really pleased about that. Chick Corea and Gary Burton. I have other records by them, so I'm not sure what this is going to be like. This is a 1983 CM 1260. Yeah, so add another addition to my ECM collection. Flesh Device were a New Zealand punk band from the early 80s. This is their first release. It is a 12 inches of hard flesh. It is a live recording, I understand. I haven't played it yet. I have another Flesh Device. This is a live EP, or it's actually, this is the first issue, I think, because it was reissued on JREM Records, but this is a no label record. Yeah, so pretty cool. Another Mike Knock Strata, a film soundtrack from 1980 something on Kiwi Pacific Records, 1984. Yeah. Actually, the guy that I bought those records off, when I showed him this, he said, "Oh, I just sold a copy of that a few weeks ago." So, yeah, like I say, anything Mike Knock does, I'll pick up. I mean, they're not all fantastically great, but he is a great pianist. Really, some more New Zealand stuff. Really pleased to find this. Well, actually, I knew this was here, to be honest. It had been in the shop for a while. This is Tall Dwarf's very first 3-track EP. This is the Furtive Records issue in 1981. I think it was reissued on Flying Nun a little bit later, but this is the original one. Hope it plays alright. It was pretty grubby, but I gave it a good clean, and it looks like it's cleaned up alright. There's only 3 tracks on it. It's not the cheapest EP to buy, but it's affordable. That gives me pretty much a fair chunk of the early EPs. Chris Knox, who is the more vocal half of the Tall Dwarfs, had this 4-track recorder, and most of the stuff they recorded at home in their living room, etc. over the years, and they released half a dozen EPs or so before they started putting out albums later on. I think the first album was in the late 80s or early 90s. And I've managed to find most of them. They're usually reasonably pricey, up around $50, but yeah, really pleased to have them because it's such cool music. The Bats, another legendary New Zealand band. This is their second LP from 1988. This is actually an Australian pressing from 1990, but it's still on Flying Nun, and it's got the Flying Nun label and everything. But according to Discogs, it's got the Flying Nun centre label there on the record. According to Discogs, this is an Australian issue. The numbers add up to that. So anyway, that's cool. Really pleased to find this, and I hope it plays alright. It was very, very dirty, but it's cleaned up and looks pretty good. But this is the Dudes' first album. The Dudes. Dave Dobbin is a famous New Zealand musician who is one of our most successful musicians, right up there with the Finn brothers, actually. Personally, I'm not into his latest music, and haven't been for many years, but the Dudes was his first band, and they were a kind of new wavy type pop band from the late. This is from 1979. This has got 3 of their big hits on it, which I actually have on that EP they put out. But yeah, this was cool to find. I did see a Dude's album a while back. I think their second one, which I never got round to grabbing. So pleased to find that. Another one from the man I met today from the North Island. This is another ECM that he said he'd had, and I said I haven't got it, so I will grab it. Eberhard Weber's Colours, Silent Feet, ECM 1107 from 19 something or other 78. So that's pretty cool. Always looking for ECMs. Oh, and this one even more so because I actually have, well, I have some other Eberhard Weber. He did a lot of stuff. Miroslav Vitius group, ECM, self-titled, from 1981. I actually have another one of his that I got sent from the States by Roger Coleman, actually, as a VCLT a while back. So yeah, and I quite enjoyed that, so I grabbed that one as well. So pleased to get that. Picked up a couple of also Kiwi records, or Kiwi Pacific records, or just Kiwi records on this one from 1972. New Zealand Composer Edition. I've shown a few of these before. This is New Zealand classical type music, and this is choral works with stuff by a whole bunch, actually. There's quite a list of them. So yeah, that would be interesting. And then I picked up a copy. They're quite cheap though. They're not really popular selling. These are in fantastically good condition, although the vinyl was quite grubby. The covers are absolutely mint. But this is New Zealand Composer Volume 2, Chamber Works, Volume 2. Turned out I actually already had a copy of this, but my other copy was really tatty and the covers was all ripped around the edges, so this is a pretty big sort of upgrade. Another one from the shop, another Blue Note, so I grabbed it, but I'm not actually sure what I'm getting myself into on this one. But Robert Glasper, his name was familiar to me. The Robert Glasper Experiment Black Radio Recovered Remix EP from 2012. There's a whole bunch of featuring a whole bunch of different people who I don't really know. Yeah, don't know what's this going to be like. Very interesting. And then the last two are the ones I brought off the gentleman I met from up north. Another blue note that he had, Horace Silver's Silver and Brass from 1975. This is an original Blue Note. Don't know what this is going to be like, but I mean, these were cheap. It looked pretty grubby, but it looks like it's cleaned up pretty well. And actually, this is the pick of the bunch for me from New Zealand ones today. Murray McNabb. I've got some. I haven't really got any of his solo records as a leader, but I've got that compilation that came out on Serang Bang Records that I've shown, and I've got some stuff where he was in. I think it was Space Case he was in, wasn't it? Space Case and Dr. Tree, some early, which was an early jazz funk fusion band from 1976, which I've shown before. But this is from 1987, I think, on Ode Records again. So yeah, it's a trio. Yeah. So he's a keyboardist as well, like our friend behind me playing in the background. So waiting for you. Looking forward to having listened to that. And again, while I was waiting for the gentleman to show up today, and I still had some funds left over from the copper that I hadn't spent, plus what I was keeping to hold over for him, I had a quick look through the CDs, because as I showed in my last video, which I only made like about 2 days ago, and I still haven't posted and won't be posting for a while yet, I picked up some CDs by the Eastern. So there was only two more CDs of their discography to get. So there's the early 2009 EP Oh Mystery, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks, and then their second album Arrows from 2010. Yeah, must be. So that completes their discography, apart from one 7-inch, which was a split 7-inch that they released with a heavy metal band called Beast Wars, which they covered each other's music, which is quite interesting. And then finally another CD, Dragon. This is Universal Radio Dragon's first LP. Dragon were a massive pop rock band from the late 70s and early 80s, but mainly I think the late 70s in Australia and New Zealand. I don't know whether you overseas guys would know as much about them, but they were pretty big. They did go to America. They did tour America. I don't know if anyone remembers that. They didn't really break it big over there, I think, and it was pretty hard on them, as it is. But before they went over to Australia, while they were still in New Zealand, they released 2 albums in the early 70s, and this was the first one. And this stuff is really, really cool, progressive pop, progressive rock. I really like this. I listened to it tonight on the headphones. It is even better than I remembered. Vinyl copies, there is a reissue around. I've never seen one yet, but the original copies are now selling for well over $600 or $500. So, and same with the second album, even more so. But I'd love to get my hands on them. But even if I see it on CD, I'll get the second one as well. So the first 2 albums are the 2 for me. The proggy stuff. After that, they went really big pop time, and I'm not that keen on their music at all. So, all right, that's another bunch. So I picked up like 17 bits of vinyl today, I think it is, which I showed there. So that's all of them. So it's been a very, very busy week. I've got enough records to probably keep me going for a couple of months now. I've got one more in the post, which I forgot all about, which is still on its way. So, and I've just ordered a whole bunch of CDs. I got a tax refund in the bank and have been shopping online. So my next video might be more CDs, which people might not be that interested in looking at. But anyway, oh well, that's me. Time to go. Saturday night, and it's been a long day putting all the stuff on Discogs and cleaning it. So, all right, see you next.